Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. It is the day before the Thanksgiving holiday, and I am just sitting here enjoying the afternoon. We've dropped about 20 degrees, and the wind is really blowing, so I'm just diffusing my essential oils and chilling out here in the house today, just kind of enjoying this ominous day. All the leaves have fallen, except from my favorite evergreens. This one is mine. It was on the brink of death when we moved into the house 20 years ago, and it has since flourished. I have my other one that sits on the property between me and the neighbor, considered the neighbor's, but is just a beautiful tree that I love to death. It's so shady in the summer and leaves just a great silhouette against the sky in the winter. So while we are here today, I want to talk about some ancestral magic, as this time of year is really special for me. So here we are, kind of having a Six of Cups reminiscence, down memory lane. This time of year is always really hard. Still holds a lot of special memories. Almost 10 years ago, I lost my dad to cancer, and he went within 4 months once he was diagnosed. So he went in for surgery on my birthday in September, and he had been home, recovered, was out of the hospital here around Thanksgiving. My brother and I had kind of realized that this was a downhill battle at this point. So Thanksgiving is just always one of those weird holidays that I just don't fully get into anymore. I like getting together with family. I love cooking. I'll be doing something on a different day. This Sunday, I'll be doing a meal for my mom and my brother and the hubby and myself. But it got me thinking about a lot of people and how they want to incorporate ancestral magic with their craft. And while I think this is a really good idea, I think there are a few things that we need to watch out for. So I feel like it's really good to get to know your ancestors and who your relatives actually are. So I would say, if you have someone in your family that's into genealogy, or if you are yourself, it's good to know your ancestors. And many of you might be wondering why, and I'm going to get to that, but I just want you to understand how important it is to do your genealogy research. So I feel like the biggest thing with ancestral work is knowing what ancestors you want to call on. So there are some ancestors in my family tree that I would choose not to work with, just because they would not be in alignment with what I am trying to accomplish. And they may not even be in agreement with the path that I have taken. I have a lot of Christian lineage on my dad's side, so I have to be careful about what ancestors I call upon, because they would probably frown on what I am doing in the craft. One of the people that I had no idea until later in life was my grandfather on my dad's side. He was in World War II. He was a pilot and was decorated and really an all-around just awesome person. I found out later in life that he actually read tarot cards, and he kind of kept it behind closed doors. And I had no idea. I never, as a child at their house, ever ran across anything like that that I remember. So this all came as a shock to me to find out that he did tarot after he had passed in the late 90s. So at that point, I was really drawn towards divination even more. I had thought about, other forms, but for some reason the tarot cards were always kind of a draw for me. So I kind of went that direction and really just went crazy with it. But my grandfather is someone that I will call upon for guidance when I am doing tarot, just because I have a very close ancestor that I have knowledge of that used to read tarot. And apparently he was really good. I wish I would have known that. There's just so many things that I think we could learn from them when they were here with us. But still a tremendous load that we can learn from them, calling upon them in the afterlife. So another ancestor that I will personally call upon is an uncle on my mother's side, my mother's brother. He was definitely an eccentric person. He did not fit the normal realm. He was in the Navy, actually, and he was just such an intelligent man. He was into everything. He was very much into astronomy, and that was something I wish I could have picked up more from him when he was alive. He actually worked for NASA at some point, helping them building rockets and such for launches. So, but unfortunately he kept a very private life, and that was including his family. He was not very open with us a lot of the time, and when he was really selective about what he would give us for knowledge. He knew a lot of, and I think he knew that I was going down this path. He was definitely an empath, and my mother often talks of times where he has foretold the future, about them losing a sister at a very young age, which they did in a tragic accident. There was some other premonitions that he spoke of about who was going to be left alive and who was going to, be passing. And it was just, now that the years have passed and now that things have come to unfold, it's truly amazing how accurate some of his stuff was. So he was very much in touch with some of the Wiccan community here, and at some point in high school had even offered to have me go out to meet, and I'm assuming a coven at this time. And unfortunately it was all too a little overwhelming for me. I was just really coming into my path, but I had never spoke much of anything that I was really into to him. So somewhere along the lines he picked up on it, which I felt was absolutely amazing. He's another person that I will call on for a lot of my craft, just because he was this sponge that absorbed so many things in his life. and someone that I just wish I could have known better. I think there would have been a huge connection on so many levels if he would have just opened up to his family more. So those are two people that are very close to me in my family tree that I will choose to call upon when I feel it's needed in my craft. Now, sometimes, and there are a lot of people that may not even feel called to do ancestral work, but I've just noticed because, with Samhain passing here, we're coming into the cold winter months, and this is when a lot of us do a lot of introspecting, pulling in and practicing our craft. So this is a time that we may reach out to new deities and may want to make new offerings, work with new deities, or work with our ancestors. So this was something that I just felt was really important to get out there. Just although it sounds really good, and it seems like you're so in touch with this your lineage, that be careful who you call upon, because if you call upon Aunt Sue, who was a devout Catholic or a devout Christian, and ask for her advice, 9 times out of 10 she's not going to align with your purpose, and could possibly unintentionally, because you need to know these things, you could unintentionally damage any spell work or any intentions that you may be working on there during this time of year. So it's good to know your ancestors. If you can work closely with closer relatives that may have known you, that's even better. But there are often times where there are people 2 to 3 generations back that you can still work with, that you may have known or had some kind of a connection with, whether it be through dreams or through other relatives, and you just felt this strong bond. Just please look into knowing who you're dealing with, what family members you want to deal with, and it will heighten that magical experience when you decide to incorporate them into your magic. So in my tarot readings, if I'm doing a large spread or something big, I definitely will call on either or. My uncle was the first one who gave me my first tarot set in high school, so I have divination empaths on both sides of my family. My uncle I knew of, my grandpa I did not, so it's always good to find out before you bring them in. But tarot card readings, a lot of my practices, my uncle has kind of always been my go-to if I want to incorporate ancestral magic into my spells. So it just enhances it, and it could speed things up. It could add a little extra magic if you want. But either way, it's just word of the wise to know who you're working with when you work with your ancestors. And I hope you will have a wonderful holiday get together. Eat lots of food. Be grateful for everything that we have at this time. I just honestly think that this month should be all about giving thanks and gratitude for everything that we have, and just taking care of ourselves. We're working our way into the long nights, short days. I know a lot of people have issues with suffering from depression and problems during this time, and I just hope that your craft maybe keeps you focused and directed and gives you something to put your energy towards, and not the darkness that these long nights bring us. So either way, I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday, and we will talk soon. Happy spellcasting.